Hey, everybody. First, Connor's one of the funniest dudes I know, and I'm kind of the exact opposite of that, so we'll see how this goes. Bitch Tits by Connor Clifton. When I graduated from high school, my whole family... Thanks. Again, Bitch Tits. I just wanted to say that twice, really. By Connor Clifton. When I graduated from high school, my whole family, cousins included, packed up their bags and flew out to California to throw my same-age stepsister a graduation party. I stayed home, recovering from surgery. I didn't get a graduation party. I got a double mastectomy. See, I had boobs, like big boobs, C-cups, big honkin' knockers. Sorry, you can laugh. Everyone else did. I'm used to it. When I was 2 years old, I was diagnosed with cancer. Yeah, keep laughing, shitheads. I was given this experimental medication that ended up not being approved by the FDA because, get this, it caused gynecomastia, which is male breast syndrome. So in 7th grade, I started getting a little tingling in my nipples, and by 8th grade, I was a B cup, and they just kept growing. I got bad back problems because my dad drew the line at buying his only son a bra. I don't really think I can blame him. My dad was of a different time and saw my breasts as a problem that needed to be nippled in the bud. Huh? Yeah, there you go. My mom thought I was just fat and surgery was out of the question, so I went through high school with some big old milk cannons. Actually, I don't know if they produced milk. I never tried. My siblings were very cool about it. They never once mentioned it. They could tell that it was very upsetting for me. They chose to make fun of how my dad would call me up on Fridays sometimes and say, "Something came up, maybe next time, champ." You know, the stuff that cuts deep. I don't know if y'all remember high school, but it really sucks, and everyone judges you for every little thing. I tried wearing all black, baggy t-shirts, the works. I wore an unbuttoned overshirt over every t-shirt I wore, hoping no one would notice. They totally did. Some people would ask if they could titty fuck me. You can't, and that doesn't even feel good. Why is titty fucking even a thing? Some people would ask me if I would squeeze them for practice for when I finally had sex. I did squeeze them. But after feeling a real titty for the first time, I knew I just had lumpy cancer tits. Real titties are awesome, and they are all beautiful. Having boobs definitely made dating a nightmare. I asked one girl out, and in front of everyone, she said, "I don't date trannies." I looked her up on Facebook recently. She's an advocate of social justice now. Pretty sure she would be pretty embarrassed to hear the story, but people can change. People can also get their honkers sliced off. Wonder if she'd date me now. Probably not. You see, her saying that really fucked me up. I became full of hate. I spent a lot of my time in high school wanting to kill myself and everyone else in school. In and out of therapy, uncontrollable bouts of crying. But what could I do? My dad thought I was a freak, and I agreed with him. My mom just chose to ignore it or encourage me to work out, but I hated the gym. Fun fact, I'm an expert at changing my shirt without showing any skin. What a fun life skill to have to learn. I wasn't as strong as the other kids who got teased, and I hated them. I started to bully them because that's how the food chain worked. If you were smaller than an already small guy, I'm 5'6" and 3/4, then you had a bully with big old boobies. Eventually, in my junior year, the kids I tormented grew sick of my shit. They got a bunch of people to tell me what an asshole I was, and boy, that broke me. I was not as tough as I thought I was. I felt like a garbage person. It didn't matter how tough I thought I was really just as thin-skinned and sensitive and lost and confused and scared as anyone else in high school. I resolved to be nicer to people after that. I still had that classic Connor Clifton snark, trademark, that you all know and love me for now. But if I upset someone unintentionally, I apologize like crazy and drown in my own regret. Once I made this willing adjustment, my outlook changed a lot. I wasn't good enough for the hot kids, so I hung out with the normal kids. And this is when I learned a pretty valuable lesson. Hot people can be viciously ugly inside. The people I chose to surround myself were good people. They were kind, loving, non-judgmental of my condition. Some of the girls in this group ended up having crushes on me, and I had sex twice that year. It ruled. She said I made her come, but probably didn't. We were both so young. My positive attitude ended up paying off in my senior year when I got to date this incredibly smoking hot soccer player. Some people couldn't understand it. How did that mammoth, mammaried man manage to pull that sultry soccer starlet? Oh, I was nice to her. We even had sex. She was super cool about me taking off my shirt in front of her for the first time. I felt so comfortable with her. Summer was fast approaching. That meant high school was going to be over. I was so excited, especially because my dad told me he would pay for me to get a double mastectomy when I graduated. It was like a light switch. All the self-love I was practicing wouldn't even matter anymore because I could start over fresh at college with a normal body. No one would ever know. Except that my friend Rahul loves telling people that I used to have tits, but fuck that guy, right? Fucking Rahul. So I went in under the knife. And when I woke up, I was flat-chested. I couldn't believe it. I used to run my hands down my chest. They would slope out to cover my breasts and then drop down to cup the bottom of them. Now they just bumped over nipple ridge. I was very happy with my new look, and even happier with the pain pills that I got. I was even more excited for the stitches to come out so I could go swimming with my shirt off for the first time since I was 12. But the thing I was anticipating most, fucking for the first time with only one pair of tits to worry about. Me and the soccer girl met up while my parents were out of town. I was so ready and so excited for her to see my new body. We got in the back seat of my minivan, started swapping spit. Then I took off my shirt and she ran her fingers across my chest and said, "Now you're perfect." Wrong thing to say. I don't know what it was about it, but that was just the worst thing that I could have heard at that moment. Now you're perfect? Before you were flawed? Thank God I was patient for you to get carved up and become more normal. This was an immediate boner killer. I pulled back, put my shirt back on. At the time, I didn't really tell her why I didn't want to have sex. I told her it was way too hot to have sex in a minivan in the middle of summer. Maybe we can try again next time my parents are out of town. Dropped her off at home and went to my friend's house to tell him what happened. This story spread like wildfire, but not the details you think. See, I was already class clown. who was smart, debate team president. And over the past year, I was trying to be nicer, and suddenly a whole mess of girls found out that I was without man cans, and they were interested in hanging out before summer. I realized I was on a lot of people's what if list. All this time, they treated me like I was a less than, someone who didn't even deserve to have someone attracted to them. Now, they wanted to fuck. The circumstances of my situation weren't lost on me. All these hot people who showed me how gross they were on the inside. My self-esteem had increased big time. They weren't worthy of my company anymore. What's that line? If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best? Yeah, 100% true. I don't miss my breasts at all. I'm glad they're gone. But the lessons I learned from having them, they're still with me. When you take the time to get to know someone beyond what they look like, you can tell who's worth your time and who is just a total dud. Some of you may think I'm crazy, but I ignored all those pretty girls and spent the rest of the summer hanging out with my fellow outcasts who didn't care what you look like, just as so long as you treated them with respect. Just kidding. I was a fucking dog that summer. I banged over 10 girls who used to think they were too good to me, and I didn't give a fuck if they came or not.